This is a story from our book, The Wills Lawyers, entitled Taking Dad for a Ride. Stan, an accountant by profession, had at first very much appreciated the efforts of his brother Charlie. The mother had passed away, leaving behind the two of them and their frail 89-year-old father, Leland. Most of Stan's time was spent by having to work hard at the office. But Charlie, who had taken an early retirement from his job, spent a great deal of time with their father, Leland. Stan was impressed with Charlie's dedication to their father. Wherever Charlie went, Leland was invited. Without exception, whether it was a restaurant or a trip, if Charlie was there, so was Leland. Leland had mild dementia, so Stan felt very comforted that his brother was so involved in the life of their frail, elderly father. Stan was also impressed that Charlie had organized all of his vacations so that Leland would be included along with Charlie's own family, Charlie's wife, and their teenage boys. Stan's initial impressions changed almost immediately after Leland's last trip to Florida. Leland passed away 2 weeks after they returned. Stan was the sole executor of Leland's estate. As he began the estate administration, Stan's admiration for his brother Charlie began to melt away and eventually turned to disgust. In point form, this is what destroyed Stan's relationship with Charlie. Point 1. Leland's last credit card bill came to Stan about 10 days after the funeral. The bill exceeded $30,000 for a 10-day trip. Not only did it show payment for the vacation Charlie took to Disney World with his wife and 2 teenage boys, the vacation included payment for water skiing, surfboarding lessons, shopping at exclusive stores and boutiques, and an evening at a very expensive club. Point 2. Not only was it offensive that it was Leland's credit card that paid for all of this, but it was all the more infuriating when one realized that Leland was 89 years old, walked with a walker, and had mild dementia. Point 3. As Stan acquired more and more paperwork, he realized that the only reason for Leland to be present when Charlie entertained himself and his family was the fact that every vacation, every restaurant, and every flight was paid for by Leland's credit card. When Stan investigated more deeply into Leland's financial records, he saw clearly that, further back in time, Leland's credit card had paid for sailing, scuba diving, skiing, wine tasting tours, and the like. Point 4. Stan could only imagine his late father being dragged along to some club or restaurant while Charlie, his wife, and kids lived it up. Then he imagined Charlie taking his father's hand to help Leland sign the credit card slips. In all likelihood, Leland had no idea what he was paying, and all these bills were paid out of Leland's account at his bank. He wondered if a trip to Leland's bank was among the trips that Charlie took with Dad. And to quote Stan, "My brother had pulled the wool over my eyes and over my dad's eyes ever since my mom died. But now I see that bloodsucker for what he really is. It wasn't my dad who Charlie cared about. It was my dad's credit card."